So the election of 2000 was between PAN's Vicente Fox, PRD's Cuauhtemoc Cardenas Solorzano, and PRI's Francisco Achua. PAN, the opposition party, for the first time had won the election. PRI also lost control of the Chamber of Deputies after being in control since the democracy had been put in place. He won with about 43% of the vote, and some of the key issues were that a broadcasting network named Televisa, primarily on PRI's side, rarely let PAN candidates speak on air and put their own comments on it instead. On the other hand, Television Azteca was skewed towards PAN, so in other words, they both had their ways. The National Electoral Institute became responsible for public elections during this time. Its president became Lorenzo Villaneo. Before the IFE, the electoral process was controlled by PRI. They ensured that the voting process was fair by discussing multiple test statistics, and which was something that the people of Mexico had never seen. Mexico was still transforming into a democratic regime, and not only was PRI changing, but PAN was also. PRI began to move away from an import substitution industrialization model and a natural resource dependent model to a much more market conforming and internationally open manufacturing economy. PAN changed their new main slogan and was able to get people to voting booths, causing their win in the election. Vicente Fox was confident and showed the country that he was going to be able to win. The 2006 election candidates were Lopez Obrador from PRD, Felipe Calderon from PAN, and Roberto Madrazo from PRI. The election was too close of a call according to the IFE, with the runner-up being tenths away in the percent from the winner. Across Mexico, the results were challenged. Many people believed that there was election fraud and the vote was not counted fairly. All the candidates wanted to create jobs, eliminate corruption, and deal with corruption. Calderon focused on jobs and stability. He focused on the lower middle class and tried to get them on his side. Similar promises to Obrador. Lopez Obrador's goal was to rid the government of corruption. He was to hire people on merit and pushed for an immigration accord with the United States. He was disliked as the wealthy because he was seen as a Robin Hood type character, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. Roberto Madrazo wanted to help the poor South, but rejected the idea of neoliberalism. Calderon, in the end, was able to get people on his side with his focus on jobs. The candidates for the 2012 Mexican election were Enrique Peña Nieto, Lopez Obrador, and Josefina Mota. PRI was being brought back into power, and people were concerned for their past and felt that the authoritarian rule in the past, but people thought they were capable of a better future. Obrador worked to soften his image and let people know that he was the only main option besides PRI, the other main competitor. All candidates discussed public security, narco-violence, and organized crime. Economic growth and development were another theme, and all the candidates wanted to maintain sound management and expand social welfare. The election was primarily focused on practicality rather than ideology. Peña Nieto was able to win by showing the people that PRI was a new reformed party. He also focused on how PAN had disappointed the people, and he wouldn't do the same. His campaign team was modern and found ways to relate to the people. Presidential elections in Mexico only happen every 6 years, so our next election will be in 2018. For this coming election, the nominees, they haven't formally declared that they're going to be running for president, but the nominees are Jose Miade, Ricardo Cortez, and Lopez Obrador. Here are some of the websites and sources that we were able to use.